shy. Welcome everyone, thank you for coming. This is a beautiful and special moment. I'd like to say, first of all, welcome to Geshe Tashi Dorje. He's a revered monk in the Saramay Monastery, the lineage that we come from. He has been the Umse there for over 7 years. He's like this with His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Everywhere they go together, they say hi. He is, besides being a very learned human, he is divine. His kindness is flowing out of him constantly. So I want to say thank you from the class for coming, help us review. Also, I'd like to welcome Tenzin,
yes.
Who's the voice of Dharma in English, from Tibetan to English. And we have just 3 simple goals today. We'll do a quick review of Karma, the course, and we'll go question, answer until we complete the entire thing that you're going to do an exam with later. Geshe Tashi La will then answer questions as we go through question 1, question 2. What does this mean? So ask all your hard questions because he knows them better than anyone. But really, how to practice these ideas. This is important. And then thirdly, we remember we did this purification class, last class, where we talked about grabbing the main thing that is preventing us from getting realizations, getting happy, the main obstacle in our lives. So if you don't have an envelope, we have spare envelopes. Grab that thing, the thing with which you're going to do the 4 forces on, and we will have a small ceremony with Geshe-la. We'll do some chanting, we'll wrap some string around you, we'll collect those horrible afflictions, we'll put them and wrap them up, and then we'll go and burn them over, whilst we do some mantras over them and so on. Take a video, post it up on Facebook so you can see your things being burnt constantly. And then for those of you taking the exam, which of course is all of you, we will, as a joke, we will have 20 minutes to half an hour to just do the short exam. It's not a big deal. It's just a test for you to say, well, how much did sunk in? How much do I know? I don't care if you get 10% or if you get 100%. The important thing is that you made effort to say, did I understand this new philosophy? And what do I know? Just for your own knowledge. Whilst that's happening, Holy Geshe-la will be in the other room, and you can have a private audience with him, asking any kind of question about practice, personal, and so on. So Holy Tenzin and Holy Geshe-la will be there. We'll do the exam here, and then just have some nice tea and smiles and so on.
So we're getting punished if we don't take the exam?
Yeah, you have to go in the other room.
we don't get to talk to him if we do.
Yeah, exactly. You don't talk to him if you don't do the exam. So usually we do the mandala offering, and then we do the refuge prayer. Geshe-la asked that we switch that around, so we're going to do it, and we will do the refuge prayer, which is the idea is you take some comfort in understanding how you can change this world, taking refuge in emptiness. And then we do a mandala offering with that understanding. Makes more sense, doesn't it? So I know we have the big Umse in the room, but Teddy, do you want to start? Let's do refuge first and then mandala. Yeah.
Sangha
Shriram Sokhi Choknam Janchu Vardu Dagni Japsuchi Dahi Jinyen Gipe Sonam Ki Rola Benjir Sangha Trivasho Shriram Sokhi Choknam Janchu Vardu Dagni Japsuchi Dahi Jinyen Gipe Sonam Ki Rola Benjir Sangha Trivasho Shriram Sokhi Choknam Janchu Vardu Dagni Japsuchi Dahi Jinyen Gipe Sonam Ki Rola Sanjira Sange Drupasho
Sashi
Mukhi Jishin Metlokjam Rira Rinjin Degam Badi Sange Shindu Mite Vivargi Drogen Anda Shinla Jipasho Idam Nididat Namandala Hamniyatayami. So let's, as usual, start with a short meditation. Take a comfortable seated position. And we'll just do a quick meditation before we start. Okay, once you're comfortably seated, begin to withdraw from the sensations of your body by making sure that any tension is released from your torso, your legs. Relax any tension in your shoulders, particularly your face, your brow, the corners of your eyes, and your lips are slightly smiling. You're breathing comfortably through the nose. And you're just noticing the breath as if it's the first time you've placed your mind there. You notice all these nuances about the way you breathe. Observe the air moving in and out of your nostrils. See if you can feel the difference in temperature of the breath as it exits versus when it enters your body. Now press your mind tighter against the breath until you are the breath. Do this for about 4 or 5 rounds. If your mind gets distracted, just bring it back to the breath. It's a good reminder. Now I'd like you to imagine that you are in an isolated place far away from civilization. On top of a mountain range, you have a room. In the distance on the horizon, you see the sun setting from your window. In front of you is a deep blue sky, and the sun is throwing golden light into the room. Your private room is filled with golden light from the sun setting. You see your meditation cushion in that room, and you take your seat there, free from any distractions. Everything is beautifully bathed in warm golden light. You are comfortable there. Relax into your breath. And then in a single instant, invite your teacher, your highest teacher, to come. Whoever they are, however they appear, they are instantly seated in front of you, facing you. See if you can feel the sensation of them being in front of you. See if you can feel what it would be like to be in front of someone that is filled with love and wisdom. they know everything about you, and they love you. In your mind, make them an offering for having come. It can be anything mental or physical. Observe them accepting your offering, and imagine what it would be like for them to experience any offering with complete bliss. And then I'd like you to consider the highest quality that you perceive in them. What is the most magnificent thing that you perceive in them? Is it their realizations? Is it their capacity to love? Is it that they have no mental afflictions? Whatever that quality is for you, quite real. See if you can build some kind of reverence for that. Now I'd like you to ask them to help you purify something that's either been on your conscience or on your mind, or perhaps just an act of anger or jealousy or whatever it is that you did in the last week or so. Think specifically about a deed that you have done of mind or body or speech that would cause you suffering in the future. In front of them, see if you can generate a sense of understanding that this deed must create your future in the same quality as you did it. How it's certain to produce a result similar to your motivation. See if this can turn some kind of regret in your heart and a willingness to stop from doing that at the next opportunity that comes. If it's anger, jealousy, or whatever. And feel that they're helping you from refraining from that in the future. Next, I'd like you to think back at the most beautiful thing that you've done in the last week or so. What was your greatest kindness to yourself or others? What will produce the most beautiful reality for you in your future? How did you apply wisdom? How did you apply loving kindness to your world? Pick a moment where you were best at this, and in front of your teacher feel some kind of deep joy for having done good in your world. See if you can feel that sensation at your heart, like a glowing. And in your teacher's heart, see if you can feel that as a mirror. The joy is beautifully reflected in your teacher's heart. It's like a deep love. It's the first time you felt love, that kind of feeling. growing at your chest, at your teacher's chest. And then see if you can feel the same kind of joy for all the other beings in the room who are at this very moment rejoicing in having done beautiful in this world. Be happy for each other. And with that joy, see if you can catch your teacher's eyes looking at you with happiness. And ask them please to always teach you. Regardless of what happens in your life, may it all be a lesson from them. Then you see in their eyes their love for you. Ask them then to always stay until you are free from suffering, so you can help others be free from suffering. And as you ask them that, see if you can imagine them rising up and turning to face the same direction you're facing, getting smaller and smaller until they are resting at the crown of your head, facing where you are facing, bright with light, just above the crown of your head. When you're ready, you can return to the room. Hi, thank you for coming. So maybe you want to say a few things. Why karma? Before we start the review.
통화들한테 되게 찾아가 정말 안에 뭐로 되게 있습니다. Good evening, everyone. 아니 원님한테 대마치기도 자와래 따뜻하다 다시 인버 장아도 망쳐다 사와서를 저희는 대인한 되지 기반을 제라고 가오시고 총풍습니다. I came here last year, and a few of you were here, and then many new friends here, and I'm very glad to see you here tonight. 아니, Hector Marcel, 원님한테 들릴 아니면서 다 통화코란 재활을 했어요, Hector. I met Hector last year, initially in New York. 아니 가서 야마다 소 추루기 더 추루기 돌리기 되는 것도 다 추루 다 걸어다. 야부시우이 있으니까. And we're very good Dharma friends. We share a lot of Dharma, exchange a lot of knowledge on Dharma. We're fortunate to have that bond. 근데 렌젤링이 다 있어요, 그래서 렌젤링이 간절해서는 나이께서 이게 다 상담 구조들을 네 코란께서 아르헨티나에 you was born in Argentina. 그래서 소위 레기온이 다들 아르헨티나 다 제닝하고 추기 돌링 체화도 다 교환만 내지 마사와 인바이나 안티레마서 간다. 근데 추기 돌링 체화도 되시는 다 소 마토가 얘기했어요. So as we are studying karma, and it is also a very strong karmic relationship that I have with Hector. I came from a very remote region in Nepal, whereas Hector initially came from Argentina, and yet we gathered in New York sharing this very precious Dharma knowledge. And to have this kind of a luxury, it has to have some kind of a relationship in terms of a karma, a cause and effect. And as we study karma, we talk about to enjoy something, it has to have a cause. And therefore, it must be a very nice, strong karmic relationship that we had in our previous life. As a result, we enjoy this wonderful time.
아니 로냐마 나랑은 그 뒤에 시라며 같이 맞아 이마 찍서 타봤다 얘기도 돌리지 쳐봐래 아니 경험도 되게 알아용만은 다 편도 총소 상담진행 알아용만은 되게 다 걸어보다 신대 두토 맞습니다.
And last year when I came here, I also one evening I came here. We talked about again on the same topic. Karma and also cause and effect relationship. Due to my very tight schedule, I wasn't able to spend that much time, and I really felt sad that I wasn't able to spend more time here last year.
아니 이게 제단이 레귤레라게 돼 넘버도 단다지 최체의 남배 최체의 딱 세딜의 기본이었다. 딱 세딜었다. 다 생년자다 다 유변적이 된다가 되는 삼로단에 제가 있는 노르바를 했습니다.
So when we think about karma, and especially if we think about karma in terms of benefit for this life, then we don't consider this as a really means for fulfilling our dharma duty. We do not engage in karma so that we have a better life for this time. That's not how we think about in terms of the karma connection.
근데 선상 아니 예로냐만 통마들라 담보거랑 따가서 다 쳐줘들라 야뭐 최기 돌린체에 대한 담보됐다 레귤이 되는 가서 돌린체고 된다 저어디 가르에서는 단달라는 셈을 아니 바봉을 보지 송나로라 간스나 가서 수도 수이나 아니 공격이나 담보 아니 꾸는 야부죠 그래서 송샤가 세미로 아니 람린 토네타 냠냐나인 바이나 아니 소소 텐저리 최주기를 밀리디 사실 뭐 이것은 텐저리 뭐스 내게다 가로다 레기브리 거든데 송샤가 세네로 텐저리문에 딱 이제 람린 딱 냠냐나게나 아니 최라 람린 딸기나 아니 레기브리만 소바이나 최 람린 자원님 누구였어 말했으네로
As I talked last year, when we were discussing, initially I decided to make a few comments on the karma, the subject of karma, and I was referring to Pabongka Rinpoche's book, Liberation in Our Hand, and the commentary on the Lamrim. And Pabongka Rinpoche mentioned that if you wanted to engage in a Dharma activity, the foremost or the most important thing is really to check your motivation. And if you have a clear motivation and then engage in activities, this will be a proper, it will go properly for the benefit of your Dharma practice. And the Pabongka Rinpoche also talks in London a great deal on the subject of human birth, and also the leisures and endowments of our precious human life, and how we can use that wonderful gift for our Dharma practices. I remember discussing that topic.
Today, songs 최간다 간 냠술래라 다 시자다 레김데 karma yutone 다 딱딱지 매와 있나 아니 레산에 제부 가리 중거다 하모 보와 있나 아니 다 쳐라 냠네 쳐통 말했으니 배나 맞다 남아도 망한 쳐왔다 쇼고네 다 이마 뒤에 이마가 다 쇼고네 광다 버도 차례 남고에 김진대 버도 이마가 버들었다 차례 남에 있다 소소 있다 그러다 레라이네 카레나 데라야 튼달다 캡산디 제라 선부터는 디칼리게도 와선 테나시 레기메데 따다데 하고 바인바이나 아니 레 야가치는 되고 야가 중아 레 미요와치는 되고 동안 좀 디 고야기 된다라 소 레기메데 따 심마 수고했어요 했으니까.
And therefore this concept of karma is very important. It's a principle, if you like, a formula in terms of how we go about our life. For example, if you engage say our daily work, and we go to work with the expectation that we get paid at the end of the week. And like this, because we work hard and we do make a contribution, we get something out of it. Likewise, in the karma, and if you if you cultivate good karmas, as a result, you also enjoy a better result. And so knowing this, the cause has to be a good in order to have a good result. And this is a fundamental way of thinking. And if you engage in activities, then I think that this will be very safe for you, as well as you have to grasp the most important concept of a Dharma practice.
How is karma and about is how's karma, yeah?
How karma works?
How karma works. That Korangi, when you mangaso ye, Koyulaji, the Mazukizachum Koranta, Zidasawa, the karma langi, the Kajesugi, the detail, the teens, the Naragawashi, which was on the Sultan Korangita, after how many weeks?
This is the 12th week.
Have the junior to the tea number, that leg in the line, the Kandea number to the weekend with a leg in the Hakova Mahimba, leg Yaga Chena, Debu Yaga Chumba, leg Nigawa Chena, Debu, Dumachumba, Tata the Hakova Yimbaina, and Sedilata, Gio Sedilachi to Puju Chumba and other than Gionama Lady Gita, Namigi Debu, the Yoma race and the source of the Hakova Tina, similar to Yakima race in the law. This was an Hector Marcel. Have the junior to the tea number, and in Aranga, which you want that should that Larlin targeted that Shimadita, legendary, that Koran, the legate on the Chanatina and so on, and telling us Hector in logic. Choose young to us and Aranga, which you Koran the Churuta, lodging the Churucha in Aranga, which you and about to the and get here like Oshu, which you.
So last year, Hector came to Nepal, and Hector told me that he was going to teach a course on how karma works, and I was really delighted to get that subject, because if you know how karma works, and then it will prevent you from doing the wrong thing. As a result, it also saves you from suffering. And so, by kind of teaching you the system of karma, Hector is doing a great favor to you, because he is really cultivating this motivation in you to engage in good karma. As a result, you have the wonderful gift of good result. And so you carry this with you to the end of the course. And thinking again on this subject, I was really delighted that he chose this very fundamental subject, karma, the cause and effect. And so I'm also very delighted to be his Dharma friend. And as we know now how karma works, so having this wonderful opportunity to share dharmas, we are actually cultivating with all further good karmas. And so I'm very delighted to meet you, Hector. Thank you, and please go ahead and do your review.
Oh, that's so funny. So this is proof, right? that karma works. So how do you meet a being like that? You know, how do you have that good fortune? Geshe Tashi studied for I don't know how many years at Saramay Monastery, where this information is passed down every year since before the 1300s, you know. Just to have that idea, the idea that you can be freed from the suffering is in itself a rarity, and then to be studying or to be taught or to understand that there's a system for making that happen, to even have that as a conception, let alone to watch it function, is already an incredible blessing. So I'm humbled and very grateful to know you and everything you represent. So thank you. Now it's your turn to show him that we learned something, right? So I'm just going to go very quickly. If you've studied with us before from the beginning of the course, then you have to speak up. If you don't know the answer, make a mistake. A mistake is just another way of learning. Yeah? And then together we can find the mistake. Make the mistake. It's better that than pretending. If you've not been here before and you come to 1 or 2 classes, then try and understand what's being said, but also see the application of this. Because if it's just words, it doesn't help. You know, you got the fan? Yes. Okay. Paul, can we just put the fan on a little? Yes. So I invite you just to relax, because this is just some precious, precious ideas that if you let them enter in your heart, they will have an imprint, they will have a result in your consciousness for time without beginning, because it is a precious thing. What are we studying? Good. End of course. No, what are thanks, Paul. What are we studying from? Which book? Kosha. Great. Who wrote it? Great. This is a holy being who, in the year 350 AD. Yeah. So he had skin and bone like we have skin and bone. And his contemporaries at the time in India are sitting in rooms, but not with fans and lights and in a big city, but they're sitting in rooms and they're thinking, what's happening here? What did the Buddha say? Why is my world functioning this way? No different to you and me. Nothing. This is 350 AD, the human group of beings on this planet are figuring out what is going on. So they look to the Buddha for understanding what this is. So it's not new and it's applicable. And these beings get enlightened when they apply these things. So that's the only reason, besides that it's a holy being, to know that it's a real authentic lineage and it comes from masters that have sat there and here and discussed and figured it out and then put it into practice. So things like this can appear. You know, like amazing relationships like this, incredible realizations can come free from suffering. So Master Vasubandhu, but that's a really difficult, if you've looked, I don't know who looked at the Abhidhamma Kosha, there's only the French translation and then the English translation from the French. It's like hard to understand. We're actually studying a commentary by whom? First Dalai Lama. This wasn't in your teachings, but who taught the first Dalai Lama? Jason Kappa, fantastic head of the Gelugpa lineage. Yeah.
Good for. Thank you.
Yeah. And Geshe, anytime you want to add, please add. Okay. I will rush so we can then get to the blessing.
That's good now.
Yeah. Okay. Good.
Good teacher rules too.
Yeah. Good Dharma friend. So Abhi Dharma, literally, what does it mean? Abhi.
Up to or rising?
Rising towards, and Dharma. What's the many meanings of Dharma? But what's Dharma?
Highest object.
Highest object. So what is the highest object in this school?
Nirvana.
Nirvana, freedom from suffering. So Abhi Dharma is that thing which brings you up to, pushes you up to. Beautiful, beautiful. So what's the non-literal translation of Abhidharma?
Treasure house of higher
Treasure house. Why is it a treasure house? Abhidharma Kosha, why is it a treasure house of higher knowledge?
It contains all the information.
That you need
What information?
to reach realizations of emptiness.
That's true, yeah, that's one literal, but what is collected? What was the collection of stuff that became the Abhidharma?
7.
Yeah,
Yeah.
good, go on.
7 works that compile all the
all the sutras and all the teachings. Yeah, at the time they gathered them together and they called them. This is the treasure house. Okay, so all the sutras, all the teachings of the Buddha, good, you did good at the time, collected into the treasure house of that knowledge. Two types of knowledge.
Stained and unstained.
Stained and unstained. So Abhidharma talks about unstained knowledge, which is Shera, which means
Seeing.
wisdom. That's right. There are 3 paths. So if you've not been here, that's okay. There's 5 paths that take you from here to Buddhahood. Let's name the paths. This is an aside, by the way.
Preparation.
Path of
Collecting or
accumulation.
Yeah.
What does that mean, Teddy?
Accumulating tons of good karma.
Merit. Yeah, good karma. Excellent. You accumulate a ton of good karma, and you're going to bump into the second path, which is you get renunciation, and then you bump your path of preparation. What are you preparing?
Your mind.
Your mind with what?
Wisdom.
Understanding and emptiness.
A intellectual understanding. Yeah. So you're gathering. It's this. This is some kind of preparation. What are you preparing for? Seeing. Yeah, the path of seeing, the third path, the first of the unstained paths. Yeah, which is what this Abhidharma Kosha is talking about. The first of the 3. So what that means in non-Buddhist, non-Dharma words, what does that mean? If you had to explain it to your mum and you don't know emptiness directly, what does the path of seeing mean?
Seeing the
way reality.
See, understanding ultimate reality, or the way things really are, that we live in deceptive reality, or that what we perceive around us is no more than a perception.
Beautiful. So you get in the path of seeing, which is an experience you have in meditation, you actually get that as a knowing. I love that. And what were you saying?
That basically you have an understanding of how reality works, and that it's all coming from your mind.
Okay. You have this as not as an intellectual, not as in the path of preparation. You have it in the path of seeing. You have seen. You've had a direct experience of emptiness, or what would emptiness be called in the lower school, in Abhidharma school?
Nirvana.
Nope. What's
No
emptiness?
self.
Thank you. No self. No self nature. Yeah. Good. Getting intellects happening. That's nice. So then after the path of seeing, which is an experience you have in 20 minutes in deep meditation,
Habituation.
what does that mean? So the 4th path, which is an unstained path, is the path of habituation, which means
Incorporating into your life what you have just discovered or just realized.
how beautiful. So I love that you said incorporating into your life. That's beautiful. So imagine, and then what comes the 5th path? What's after that?
No more learning.
No more learning. The path, it's not a path, it's just, that's it. Yeah?
Done.
Yeah. You go into hyperspace and you are a Buddha. Yeah? These are words. And I'd love it if we could get a feeling for these words. Imagine that you are operating in your world like you are right now, assuming you are who you seem to be. And you think this is how life works. And you do this, and you get that, and you do this, and you get that. And life is telling you that's how it works, you know. If you eat, you get nourished, you poop, and then that's okay. You think that's the way things work. Yeah? If you're kind to someone, they smile back, and you feel happy because you were kind. Today, you think that's how it works. And the analogy we used at the beginning was, imagine if you got that wrong. If it wasn't all right, it was just partly right. We talked about what's the cause, what's the Nirlangikyo, the principal cause for a tree to come up.
Acorn.
An acorn, a seed. But it's like, what if we didn't know that? What if we didn't know there was anything under our ground, and we are pouring water on this ground, And every now and then, 90% of the time when you pour water, seeds, a little sprout comes up, and you think, and I think, that water causes seedlings. It's a condition, it's important. Water is important. Functioning things function. But it's not the principal cause. Understanding this is karma. Getting to the seeing emptiness directly, the path of seeing, is you've been watering the ground. Oh look, a tree comes up. You walk around, put water, a tree comes up. Nice. You walk around the water, and you think for your life, this is how things work. You have a garden because you've been putting water down. Sometimes you put water, no tree comes up. You think maybe, I don't know why. You keep putting water. Oh look, a tree comes up. So you're sure now it's the water. Before you had a little doubt, right? This is our world. Every now and then things don't work and we ignore it. We think, no, if I keep going to work, I'm going to make money, I'm going to be successful, I'm going to be happy. Yeah? Every now and then it doesn't work. It's like thinking water produces trees. Seeing emptiness directly, or having a realization of no self-nature, is you suddenly know, you suddenly have an experience that you see there are these things called seeds you didn't know about. Your reality still functions. You still need to put water and the seeds will turn on. It's like you've got 80% of the information. This is that path. And then knowing that is trying to rehabituate yourself. The path of habituation is trying to habituate yourself, incorporating that understanding to the next time you're about to pour water, you better check that there's some seed down there. Yeah? All of a sudden you habituate, and then you know how to garden for real. So Abhidharma refers to the 3 unstained paths, and they're called unstained because, why would you think it's called unstained?
They are not informed by ignorance.
Excellent. No ignorance there. You've seen emptiness directly. You know it's not water only. Yeah? Awesome. Thank you. Woo! Kishila, any comment? 5 parts, all good. Excellent.
Good question, good answer.
Yeah, everyone's good Dharma friends. Okay. What's the first line of the 4th chapter of the Abhidharmakosha?
Deeds create the multitude of worlds.
Deeds create the multitude of worlds. Karmas create your universe. And the reason it's saying multitude of worlds is because on the 3rd chapter they've been talking about cosmology. All the realms of existence, all the suffering realms of existence. So they're describing the human realm, the animal realm, the planetary systems, time and space. And then they're going, where does this come from in the Abhidharma? It's an incredible sci-fi book. Where does this come from? And the first line of the 4th chapter, deeds cause your multitude of words. Your karmas, your actions of, let's divide karma into the 3 gateways of karma. 3 ways you can plant karma.
Mind, speech, and body.
Mind, speech, and body. And those 3 can be divided into 2. Motivated and motivating karma. Give me a real example. What's a motivating karma?
Something you think.
That mind. Okay, so you think, I like that flower. Yeah? My mind's had an experience of that flower. Motivating. It's motivating me to do what? Smell it, do an action. Yeah? Or say something. You should buy flowers for me. Yeah? I like to smell them. There's 2 karmas. Yeah? Okay, good. And then we talked about communicating and non-communicating karmas. Give me the example of in the scripture that they use for communicating karma. There are actions that we do that communicate that you've got a karma happening.
Walk into a church, get down on your knees and pray.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. So someone on their knees and praying in church is communicating what?
communicating to anybody that sees them that there's a spiritual action.
There's something,
taking place.
yeah. It's funny because, you know, if you caught me at the age of 9 or 8 doing that at the church, I was faking. Yeah, I really.
So what about that?
Yeah, I know. That man makes me think.
You're communicating a non-truth.
Well, this is a question, you know, he's been pondering since I taught it. I'm like, that doesn't work for me, because I sat there and I swore at the priest. Yeah, no, I did, because he.
No, and I think that's pretty common too.
Yeah, yeah.
No, I mean, especially in kids that are forced to go. And
so that's a good question. I think I have an answer. We'll ask Geshe-la, but what do you think? Communicating and non-communicating karma. What was I doing on my knees at the church after he said go do 150 Hail Marys he told me to do for doing something I didn't do that was bad? Yeah, he told me I did something bad. I said I didn't think that was bad. Anyway, I had to do 150 Hail Marys.
what were you doing? You were not doing what.
What was my body doing?
Communicating what was expected of you to.
Right. So my body was doing an action,
Right.
and my mind, my non-communicating karma,
Disconnected from.
was doing a different action. So I'm interested to know Geshe-la's opinion, because I'm not 100% sure. Communicating and non-communicating karma, the example in the Abhidharma they use is a man taking vows.
Yes.
And when you take vows, the mind-only school says an aura forms. This is non-communicating. Yeah, it catches the karma. It's on you like a cloak. But sometimes, and they say communicating is him on his knees taking vows. But what if his mind is doing the wrong thing and his body is taking vows? You see?
So I think here's one. I think that tomorrow you did show. But same time, the wonder again about the see it. Teachings Abhidharma, no? Abhidharma is
Yeah, hey, Abhidharma. Only.
전화야 당고도 던데 레고 셰인도 좀 레 가서 니린치 다는 숨고 있어. 다지 고메나야 몰음게 되게 되는데. 단 니린사니에도 소구들 셈들. 셈다 보면은 셈 레고. 다지 말한도 저 회진 지다 뭐 지다 지가 뭐 류문에 디체브네 니린치에도 류들. 셈다 그래서 어떻게 있는 셈고 디가는 이건 샤면은 그래. 레니 니네지다죠. 자, 레니시다. 다가요. 처음으로 가르친 거였으나 그래서 접촉 공마다 나가와요. 그 접촉 공마다 센sam바다 오마바도 가르친 거였으나 레데라 심주 셈바랑 피고로 와. 심주 셈바 셈랑 피고로 와. 접촉 공마도. 제가 뭐도 셈 고마래 쓰려나 단대 학적이 송바나시 류기 차서와 류기 속주와도 와. 그러나 나도 속주에도 와. 속주에 봐 루이랑이 가라 자와치고를 모두 심지나 속주기 라에 레상 말했으니 간에서는 제가 뭐다 근데 튕기버도 손나도 저거도 튕기버도 제가 뭐도 단다 튕기버도 소리 직전라 강 잡아도 그런 따다 캐내는 거 단다 오마 주바나도 됐으는데 직전라 잡아지면 이 직전이 이제서 장기에 뭐도 직전라 잡아들려니 로스 숨을 메시는 다 나오고 숨어요天上 루이지 속초버코라 레레스니로 루이지 속초버코라 레체 아 루이지 차소버코라 레체로 아니 페나 나기 식소모버코라 나레체로 근데 얘기다 강체바티니까 또 룽아 유승기 레사나 무슨 호랑 강체바데 자와보는 제발 안 해도 저와랑 무슨 박자 샤도 마셔야 돼 내가체 그 직대로 잡았다 페나 나서르기 미지 둥구에는 아콜레 두샤서 그런 거 용다이 시대고 어디에서라도 류고 던데 레체도 이 레체니 직지경이 있어.
찍어지냐다. 룽아이 숨기 레를 속전되어 봐라. 셈기나 시키는 되는 거 같다. 룽아이 숨기 레 차상 속전라를 마도 한 셈들의 출사원인 시기도. 어디에 되지?
So Geshe-la was saying that we have sometimes different views among the different schools. Including the Umapa, the Mathematica, views against these lower schools, the mind only, and the other Chitama.
Yeah, Chitta Mantra is mind only.
Mind only.
Yes.
Then the other one,
Abhidharmas we call them, or logic school.
Logic school. Logic school. So Geshe-la's point is saying that Chinti Kirti, the author, made a very interesting comment. He kind of used that throughout his analysis as well as the presentation of the idea, is that as a Buddhist believer, we have to follow the what you call this common sense. The common sense is that if you commit a karma through your body, it has to be a communicating karma. It cannot be other than that. It cannot be a subtle or direct, indirect. Whatever the common kind of sense says, and we have to take that as a basis, and then using our logic, we should, when people present us a common sense, saying, if you thirsty, drink water, if we take another example, try to argue against that, people will reject us to begin with. By looking at what you call this cause and effect for the common people, how they work, looking at the common sense, and then drawing logic from that, and this will enable us to develop a wisdom which is not against the common sense. As a result, people follow that. And so this is Chinti Kirti's kind of a basis of his being the pragmatic or the practical.
Yeah.
And based on that, especially the Umapas, I think middle ways, we will really look at it in terms of the real common sense. If someone, for example, if someone is beating somebody else, we have nothing but say, this is creating bad karma. You know, there's no subtle, there's no direct, indirect, this life, that life. It's straightforward. He is committing a negative karma. And so that's how we talk about the communicating karma.
That's nice. I like it. So Paul, anyone, can you collect karma for someone else? Can I collect karma for you?
No.
Right. So let's take the example of me being a very naughty boy at Catholic church, going on my knees, going bastard, bastard, bastard.
Double bad.
So who's recording the karma? You are. Who's experiencing the karma?
You are.
So for me, on my knees, being naughty, yeah, I am both recording that I know I'm being naughty. Yeah, I knew.
Double bad.
Yeah, double bad karma. I'm also having an experience of negativity that came from another place. What about the guy walking past me using the Chitta mantras or the Abhidharmas? The guy walking past me, seeing me on my knees, yeah? Maybe a lovely old lady who's walking past and sees me like this at church. Communicating.
Good boy, communicating good karma.
What a good boy, right? Whose karma is that? Hers. So from the highest school, from the middle way school, for the Prasangika point of view, this works, okay?
Prasangika, umma tenjirwanda chadama lela ta sem ma de bachi bachi nya sukjen de sukjen de wo sen lolo teinza sokcho ba lugi sokcho ba ina de ngagi ta siksu ma fora bena ngagle le dinga so maso sem samba da umma ranjuba to ngagi lesa sunde ngagi siksu de ma 대기 있다 텔라 때네 아니 신의 마서 나지 디포데 신의 사는 것도
그냥 직접 되는 거야 되게
나지 디포 사는 오마란 유바다 신정받고 다 오마 텐지루가 제대로도 되는 명바체 직접 먹어라 나지 해서 직접 먹어라 아니 속초가 보나 딱 데려다 위기래지
이 무슨 개화를 이해를 하고 개화를
다 지기 속세나 두고 봐
속전서
개화들에서 pena semsamba da umar anjiba to soji pena no so miji dungu yo na ta miji sokju chewe na sokju ki chawa ta jowa ga jowa muishi ta jigyora jowa tabdu chaga ko sokju chaga drupsani shine khola leji sagro leji sagro kesingi ba 거기 송원 차선 갈선이로 송원 차선가 시선이 신의 레지 사고 semsamba da umar anjiba
semsamba umar anjiba
다 오마 탱기르가 제라마오도 니네 말했으니 코 속초도 거라 레사사랬으니 기진이 뭐 그거 말했으니 가르쳐 버선 직셈 되버리 직수전 되버리 개발디 쇼왔다 studie kiwa tanda Hector Marcel tenyo person kiwa da wala shikaya.
So Gisela was saying that generally in terms of the community, the direct or indirect karma is divided among two schools. The school is like Chitta Mantra and the Umaranguba. So the Simsam mind only Chitta Mantra and Swasantrika in one group, whereas you have the Abhidhamma and the Parasangika in one group.
Yeah.
And so what the first one, the Chitta Mantra, they believe first you have to complete the entire thing, and then as a result.
So you have to, the 4 steps of the path of karma.
Yes.
The she object,
She Joa, Devo,
and Tatu.
You have to complete the 3 or 4 stages to rape the karma. Right. That is the Chitta Mantra and the Swasatika Tantra view. Whereas the Parasankika and the Abhidhamma believe you don't have to go through that. As soon as you committed an act, you already caused this karma to be raped. So this is the major differences in terms of the karma, the direct, indirect. Apart from the others, much similar. So that's, you have to remember this principle.
Nice.
This time the Chitra Mawata, Uma Tinjuara, Tatawa Tatu Sen, the Uma Tinju Tawa Sewa Sumura. Heinz and Jim about Chabona Songa. Chimbeta, Puli Kansa, Uma Tinju with Tawa to the money in the Polish Vikavara. Tenza Mazota, and Unita, Kota, Peja Shuna Lashe, and Mazo Kanan Shewa, and Mazo, Miji Dubuduna, Social Children, Social Gilling, Abasos, and come to the Gora. What could the wood which tended to Taba the wood killing Muda? Tenza Mazola Tanda, Uma Tinju with Tawa Tatu Yumanatanda, Mazo Sayundi, that the Kaleja were to Tandadi in Sarah. Jikena Tata the Tundueta. That 직단 이 차단만 tumba에는 지산의 직단을 잡아 인자, 직단을 tumba 인자, 아, 뭔가 튕기에 따와 다도 유승을 되는사와.
As you can see, these two views on the karma, that the Parasankika, the highest view, is following the common sense, whereas the others go through certain kind of steps, and so we believe that the Parasankika, the middle way, is the highest one, is considered the most perfect view. At the same time, it's the most harder one to really grasp, most complicated. As a result, for that reason, Lama Tsongkhapa spent a lot of time really trying to get hold of this Parasankika view. As you know, his story, that he worked really hard. He spent a lot of time and hardship to get the perfect view of Parasankika. This is because of all these different views. The Parasankika one has a very unique advantage. To begin with, it follows the common sense. It doesn't contrast what the general or the law of the phenomenon. It doesn't contradict to the nature. By really going of following the kind of a nature order, looking at the common sense, and you try to draw a very kind of subtle analysis of the cause and effect. And so this is obviously much harder. Lama Tsongkhapa go through a lot of hardship to gain this understanding, and you also really try to get that understanding, and then you will later find out how this very subtle analysis come to this kind of a conclusion, and is related to your karma, studying the karma subject.
Awesome, thank you. That's beautiful, because the Holy Geshe Michael, he taught all the 4 schools of karma, so we could have some information and then settle on the Prasangika. And if we have maybe this understanding, we can think about, okay, the object, how to speed up a karma from the Abhidharmist or the mind only or whoever. But at the end of the day, all we're ever going to have is an impression of what we've heard, an impression of, well, what do I really think karma is, and what do I really think can cause it to get stronger or make it go away, and you'll have this inside of you, and common sense is the only way to really settle that inside of you. So let's talk about non-communicating karma. Has 6 characteristics. This is a metaphor, I think, for understanding the strength of an action, a karma. Do you remember the 6 characteristics of a non-communicating karma? But I would apply it to karma, just the idea of karma. Remember? First one was distraction. If you're distracted,
It's still happening.
you still carry this karma. So let's use English words, okay? Yeah, or Western ideas. If you've created an energy in your mind of negativity, a negative karma, by doing a deed with negative intention, it's saying, doesn't matter if you're distracted and now thinking about something else, that's inside you. Yeah? The same if you did an amazing thing. If you've just helped somebody that was in dire need of help, and you took care of them because they needed it, and that energy is inside you, that positive, beautiful, giving energy. This is saying, even if you're distracted, even if the phone rings or something happens, you have this, you've collected this. Yeah? So you carry it forward with you. This is, I think, why we learned about the 6 steps of the non-communicating karma. Because even if it's subtle inside you, you carry it forward. What's the next part? Out of the 6?
The meditation, no mind.
No mind, it was called, right? So even if you're at the most subtle, deepest level of meditation, that energy is inside you. Yeah? It carries with you. What's the next one?
Good and bad.
Yeah, it's either strongly positive or strongly negative. It has some flavor. What's the one after that?
Mind stream.
Say that again? Yeah, it continues in a stream. Who's that? Thank you. So it duplicates itself. It's always with you. So the idea is, whatever you do, you're stuck with it. The energies that you create in your world, that we create in our worlds through virtue and non-virtue, it's not like they're outside of you somewhere. You're keeping them. And they're giving you all this list of, it's in a stream, and you carry it with you, even if you're distracted. What's the last one? Or second last one? Last one.
It has 4 elements.
It has 4 elements, but this is not necessarily the view of the prasangikas, right? This was saying it's like a cloak around you. Yeah, it's good to see it as an image, to say, okay, it's staying with us. 3 flavors of karma.
Good, bad, and neutral.
Good, bad, and neutral. Define good.
That which is experienced as positive.
And
In the short term, and will lead you to
in the short term. In the long term?
lead you to nirvana.
Lead you to nirvana. Awesome. What's the non-virtue? Negativity.
Unpleasant in the short term, and
You must get an unpleasant in the short term, and
Causes more suffering.
cause suffering in the
obstructs you from nirvana. And the third one? Third type of flavor?
Neutral.
Vanilla. Yeah. So plain vanilla. Yeah. Neutral. Defined as?
neither one of the above.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, because there's nothing else. So anything that's not either of the above too. Good. The 3 gateways, and out of the 84,000 possible negativities that we could do, obstructions of mind, in the 3 gateways of body, speech, and mind, give me the top 10 worst things that we do so habitually, even at a subtle level, that are around us all the time. So let's talk about the 3 of body.
Killing, sexual misconduct.
Killing,
Sexual misconduct.
stealing, sexual misconduct. Okay? I share with you, when I first heard this in a class like this, I didn't like it. It reminded me of that church. It reminded me of the priest. I'm like, oh great, I'm back in Catholicism. Not good. Yeah? But honestly, it was so bad. But there is a reason why they're so similar in the spiritual traditions of the world. Who's killed somebody in the last 24 hours? Hopefully nobody. Don't put up your hand if you did, right? Right?
Obviously,
it's a bad question. Who's stolen anything, like, you know, really seriously gone and stolen a car or thousands of dollars or done a strong act of this? Nobody here, hopefully, right?
In the last 24 hours?
Yeah, I'm not going to ask about sexual misconduct. But really, I mean, these are the things, these are the top 10 things in this world that affect not just humans, but other beings as well. We think that the only way to get is by taking, and so stealing is a thing. Yeah? We think that the only way to get rid of things we dislike is by pushing them away or killing them, get rid of them. So it's a thing. Sexual misconduct, depending on what level of morality you're on, can be anywhere from having relations with another person that's taken, yeah, to looking at somebody inappropriately. Depends. It's all your karma. Yeah, it's all your recording. The reason that they are similar is because at some level we are doing this. Now, I don't think you're killing humans. I don't think you're stealing. But how much of the intent to harm life do we have in our day-to-day? Just the subtle wishing ants weren't in our living room, you know? Getting rid of cockroaches, pushing away people on the side. We're like not respecting life. Because if we habituate that and that grows, you're going to get to destroying life. What about stealing, taking what's not yours? Yeah, so these are the top 10 because they are abundant in our world to some degree. So the further, we might not be doing that thing, but we are certainly doing things that will cause us, if it grows, to do that thing. So it's important to know these 10 because knowing the negativity of them will, if you imagine the highway to enlightenment, the path to enlightenment, stopping any subtle nature of any of these 10 is like removing 10 big boulders that stand between you and freedom from suffering. So what would the opposite of killing be? If you wanted to do the opposite,
Protecting life.
you would make it your business to anything that has a nature of being, a sentient being, to protect that thing because it's life. If you habituate that in your mind, a huge boulder out of the 10 main boulders that prevent us from being free from suffering is removed. Taking what's not yours, what would the opposite be?
Protecting people's stuff.
Other people's stuff, looking after it. Sexual misconduct, respecting other people's relationships. If you made it your business to do the opposite of these 10 big blockers to enlightenment are already making way for you to. This is what the vows do. That's why vows are a thing. You're removing the major negativities that stand between you and your freedom from suffering. These are the top 10. The more subtle vows then remove the small rocks. You've removed the 10 boulders, and then there are medium-sized rocks that are hurting your feet. And then there are deeper vows. Yeah, you do refuge vows, pratimoksha vows, then you do bodhisattva vows. Now you're working on the upswing. You're getting rid of the fine particles of rock that are left on your highway until you do tantric vows, and then there's no dust on your way. You're a slippery slide up to enlightenment. No resistance. Yeah, this is why vows work. Because once you understand the next course, which is the Dharmakaya Sutra, emptiness, you apply your knowledge of karma, you have a clear path between you and freedom from suffering. So, in 5 minutes, I'll do the rest of the class, and then we do some question and answer. So, what are the 4 of speech?
Lying, harsh words, divisive speech, and idle.
Yeah. What are the 3 of mind?
Coveting, ill will, and wrong will.
Okay. Are these things bad from their own side? What makes them bad? What makes them a non-virtue?
The result that's produced.
The result that's free. You gave me the answer before, which is if you engage in any of these, you must have the result of these. Therefore, it's bad for you. No one's writing a note above their, keeping tab on Teddy. He's done that today. He had this thought today.
Yeah.
I better dish him out some suffering. You're the creator. Your deeds create your multitude of worlds. Karmas can ripen in 3 time frames. This life, the next life, or the life after the next life, or thereafter, right? But this is interesting. Okay, that's obvious, big deal. So you might do an action, it's collected and created in you, and it's coming back. This life, or next life, or the life after that and beyond. What's important about this? So what?
It carries on.
It's coming back, I don't care. What's important about this?
It carries on with you.
It carries on with you. We learned that before.
You're not attached to an outcome.
But you don't know when it's coming, yeah? Like death. You have no clue when it's coming. It could happen next week. It could happen tomorrow. You could be surprised that your last act of stealing, or you could be surprised at your last act of kindness. You don't have a clue. We talk about later about how to speed it up. There's something more important about, it's sort of not obvious, something more important about the fact that you can get karmas ripening in these 3 time frames.
That you can have it this lifetime.
Why is that important?
Because you can get enlightened this lifetime.
The fact that karmas can ripen in 1 lifetime is the basis of tantric teaching. The fact that in the Abhidharma we're saying, hey, karmas can come back to you in 1 lifetime, or in 2 lifetimes, or in 3 plus, is proof that there's some insight here that if I know exactly what karmas are planned, I can remove suffering today, this lifetime. You don't have to wait. This is one of the bases for why tantric vows work. So there's a nice little So if I was going back 17 years when I first heard these ideas, which I didn't, I'm slow, yeah, I would have latched onto that and gone, I want to know how to do those karmas. The ones that get me a result this lifetime. What is it? Do I have to do what? Why? I would dig the Abhidharma, I would dig Geshe-la's mind. How do I make more of those? Because you don't want to wait. Do you remember what karmas you planted last lifetime? Do you remember what karmas you planted when you were 5? Do you remember this morning's karmas? You know? You want to figure out what cause and effect you could... Is it devils downstairs? They get angry when we talk Dharma. Yeah, they get, we're like, shh. Yeah. This is acting class every Thursday. Yeah, they learn acting.
Hell realms.
Yeah, hell realms downstairs. Okay, so this is important. So, give me 2 features that make an object of karma a powerful object, meaning it can ripen this lifetime.
High object, so someone who's had spiritual realizations.
So a powerful object is one of them, yeah? So the thing towards which you do that is and it could be a high being or something like this. So you have a sense, an understanding that that thing to which you're doing something towards or interacting with has some importance to you. So the object of doing a karma, yeah?
How does equanimity play into that, though?
Oh, beautiful question. Yes, I can answer that. Good question.
So when we start dividing sort of people into as you're a high object or you're a lesser object, it seems counter to equanimity, which is we're trying to cultivate with bodhicitta, right?
Right. 그러나 예수님 땡도 없죠, 봐. 땡도 없어. 근데 다 좋지 뭐랬어. 땡 다야 가져야 더 가져야만 마셔야죠, 봐. 이 타지랑 서울다. 땡도 무슨 토땡 나는 디나야. 또 시죠, 봐. 이거 샤베도 땡도 없어. 다 땡구죠. 땡 시샤스 봐. 그런 것은 페이지 나라도 로조나리아. 로조나 말 그런 기술도 사실 야 군조 땡이 아마 선제 땡스 또 말아서 지금 소설이 좀 맞아 군조 땡도 찾았어요. 야지 선제 땡도 찾았어요. 그때 단다 땡이 또기 맞서 뒤로 답변은 캠료 군조 숨나서 그때나 그것도 캠료 남다지 귤라 끼니 미니 바이나로 맞아 코베 동날다 예송이다 예소송게 동안도 다 겹니디 코로나이 마고 다 겹퉁니디 코로나 마도 수질 민두스니 이제니로 와 캠도 개발지 귤라kin데 아니 예소송게 동날레 겹이니 메바디 캠도 kun주스는 마도 수질 민두스니 이제니 아니 이제니고 중세 가르스나 코와다 예소요 동안 탈치네다 이게 상기 고반통에도 호랑 못 될 말어 그러 뒤에서 소수 정문에 딕바샤에다 디레시면 딱 향이 디레시네 딕바샤샤스니로 딕바샤단 줄어 이게 딱땡 고주스 유튜브 딕바샤와이나 땡 개발진에 코란기 눈으로 맞아 딱 케네 담제 셔바이 말이나 코란기 딱 지랍용이 맞아 딱 시수다 무주비 개발했어요. So the Geshe-la is saying this question about object or the power of the like a higher being and so on, and saying goes back to taking refuge, because this is also related with our karma, and in order to really generate or cultivate a proper refuge, we have to find the right object to take the refuge. And so what determines the right object? This is exactly related to your question more directly. It's first of all, when we're looking at the quality of the object, the refuge, we have to first analyze whether the object, him or herself, is already enlightened or not. So when we take the refuge, the Buddha who freed himself from fear. So someone who's already crossed the suffering, and then has this, like a determination to help others, have to qualified to help. So if someone who's still in Hector's would stand, you cannot help me to remove my stand when you yourself is totally stand. So first we look at this different kind of we reason. The Buddha who's standless in his quality, Buddha who's overcome all the afflictions and so on. And once we determine that our object is totally qualified, purified, then we also talk about in the refuge someone who already pledged you mentioned about bodhicitta, right? Someone who had a commitment to help others, someone who already met that as part of their commitment. So this is like now qualified as an object. And then the reason why it's more powerful to purifying your negative influence or to these beings is they're qualified to help us. They're already committed to help us, and they've gone through what we've gone through, so they have a better understanding. If someone, like out of the blue, a god or creator try to help us, because they may not been through what we're going through. They have less understanding. But Buddha Shakyamuni Geshe-la have gone through what we've gone through, so have a very good understanding about our situation. And when we make a confession, when we request their support, they understand what we're going through. They've already been through. They also want to help us. As a result, it's very powerful as a tool for us to purify. So that's and then there's of course, because of bodhicitta, where they're already committed to help others and having the quality, and if we request them, and this is where we say they're powerful one.
The reason is Chikardesana Moscow Chugi team to do a Dewey team the Sangi Chum did Tawaka the Chage Shifumudola. Tawaka the Chage Chayan Namba Chindela that the team the cure is in that, so team Fenedi Sangi Chum did Zena. No. The Kwanagi team just Suena the all doing is in Mosota called Kenisha. Can I come somebody? The Langja in the torture, the Langja, but the Langi Krangi just Langi, torture in the Pangi is in Korani, that Gundulata, Maka Kelly in by the Machavana, Korani Fisher, Tim the Ghetto. Tim the Gena, Yawa you go. The days are so that Tim you told us, so similar to the city.
Another reason we purify in front of the Buddha and the object is because Buddha Shakyamuni, when he taught the Four Noble Truths and so on, he taught us the cause of the suffering. But to avoid the cause of the suffering, he also laid down the rules, the disciplines, which will prevent you falling into this negative field. And so he's saying, you do this, you get that. So do not do that as a rule. You should say almost like a rule the Buddha said it out. And so we, as his follower, really follow the rules that he set out. And when we don't follow the rules, we fall into negative realms and karmas. And when we sometimes do fall outside of the rules, we immediately confess and saying, I did not follow your rule. As a result, of course, there's a negative consequence and so on. And so I'm not going to do it again. By doing that, it prevents you falling further into the wrong steps.
You okay? You sure? What would you think the difference is? Well, give me with karma the reason why an object is more powerful than another object.
Because it's the way we're perceiving.
You are perceiving, yeah? Like, for me, I have a friend who's a bit of a drunk, and they try and give me advice all the time. Yeah? I love this friend, but they're a bit of a drunk, and they try and give me advice all the time. And then I have Geshe-la, and he opens his mouth. He doesn't have to talk. He can just press a string in his double bass, and I know that there's a teaching coming my way. And it's not that I'm forcing myself to do this. This is my experience. Yeah? Now, how do I treat both with equanimity? So do you understand why one object is higher than the other?
Yes.
Yeah? How do I treat them with equanimity?
Yeah, that was a good question, because isn't that part of the practice of cultivating?
How do I treat them with equanimity?
Perceive them both as high objects.
Where do they both come from? Yeah? So then, how should I act towards my drunk friend?
Compassion.
How should I act towards my teacher friend?
Reverence.
Yeah, they are the same. I mean, they are mirrors for me. Yeah. Yeah.
Good.
Yeah. But the reality is that the karmas we're having now, this one's good, that one's bad. You know that that's not true. But you're using how it functions to turn everything into that. Yeah? Okay. I know that you've been sitting here for a long time. Do you need a break now? No? Okay, we'll do a quick, and then we can have a quick break, and then we can do the envelope with the karmas we're purifying. We'll do some mantras on top of it, and then we can give you your exams and you can do them later. So the two types that help a karma ripen in this lifetime, the two special features is, one is a powerful object, and the other one was?
Great motivation.
Yeah, you have a heightened state, remember? So you have like strong motivation or something. So this is a clue to getting results in this lifetime. You find your strongest objects, not that you have to pretend, but that there are high objects for you. It's not like you have to go searching. Some things function to you as high objects. My mother is an incredible high object for me. She says something, it's like Geshe-la. There's something hidden in the way she communicates. So any action towards her is already charged up. That's what this is saying. And then if I do something towards my mother when I'm really angry, like, piss off, don't talk to me, that's a stronger karma than saying that to my drunk friend. That's all this is saying. So cultivating those is what you're going to start getting results in this lifetime, is what this is saying. 4 things that make an object special. What makes an object special? 4 things.
Type of object, type of being.
Yeah, right? So you're going to give food to a cockroach, or you're going to give food to a human. Your perception tells you that one is a higher life form than the other. It's not a judgment that, oh, cockroaches shouldn't eat. That's not true. Yeah, it's saying who's closer to being free from suffering? Who's closer to helping everybody else? Can the cockroach help the 7 billion humans plus the animals if they have that piece of bread? Or can the human help the 7 billion humans and all the other beings if you had that piece of bread?
That was someone who just became an arhat.
Excellent. So that's the number 4. High spiritual quality.
Yeah, it was all people like in deep meditation.
People in deep meditation who had seen the ultimate nature of things. And it doesn't matter that they're Buddhists or not. These are beings in your world today who are having realizations about how things function, really how things function. Any action towards them, if you have a perception that this being has seen emptiness directly, already you're charged up. Yeah? Do you see how it works? It's not like you have to make this happen. You just have to observe what in your perception tells you that somebody has had realizations. And then any action towards that something is charged up. So that's the 4th one. The first one is what type of being, humans versus cockroaches. Yeah?
Does that imply that any human is spiritually higher than any animal or any...
What? No, it can't imply that, but that's a beautiful question, right? So you think that's what the rule is. Now I can't feed doggies, you know, because I know, good question. Where does that perception come from?
Yeah.
What if a parrot came and flew to your window as you're meditating something, and you just called in every ounce of powerful karma you could call upon for realizations, and you're sitting there in meditation, and you open your eyes, yeah? And there's this bird floating outside your window looking at you with the sunlight behind them, and you offer them a piece of bread, and they take it from your hand. And magic is happening in your experience. And then you walk outside, and there's the same skateboarder who doesn't really want to work, right? I'm not making judgment on skateboarders, you know. But I'm saying I'm thinking of one particular kid in my train, yeah, who could get a job if he wanted to, but he's 20, he doesn't want to, you know. So he asks, "Oh, please give me for hot food." So you give him hot food, yeah. Which one is the stronger karma for that perceiver of those two worlds?
Whatever you think is stronger.
Whatever you perceive to be truthfully stronger. Yeah? Because if it was a rule, then it'd have to be self-existent. Yeah? Are you with me on that? Yeah? But the guideline is there.
And isn't it at the end of the day about cultivating discernment? Like to that truth? like what you just expressed, the discernment that the truth is, okay, in this situation, the bird.
Yep.
But it's about cultivating it, and that's what our experience is hopefully.
When you go into deeper and deeper practices, you get to play with subtle energies that let you behave towards that bird, towards everybody. And yeah, you'll grow that thing inside of you that lets you channel that sensation. 4 ways that seeds ripen.
Well, you didn't finish the 4.
I didn't. Someone who's giving you great assistance is the 3rd one. Thank you. So the 4 things that make an object of an action. A high object is the type of being. Yeah. So which one can get enlightened most? The next one?
Extremity of suffering.
Extremity of suffering. Something in deep suffering. Yeah. Or makes it naturally charged up. Think about why, and then you think about that. Why that one's important. Giving you great assistance, and or had great realizations. If you perceive that to be the case, then they are a naturally high object for you, and could result in a ripening in this lifetime.
In terms of giving great assistance, do they make a distinction between people that have given you spiritual assistance or someone who's helped you with a flat on the road?
Yeah, isn't that nice? What does it traditionally mean in the scripture when they say someone who's giving you great assistance? What does it imply?
Giving you life.
Your mother and father. Because they get why? They give you this body. And without this body you can't get enlightened. Yeah? So typically it means that, but it's a beautiful question, Teddy, because if we start then going to that subtle, what am I perceiving as great assistance? Obviously teachers who say 2 words and your whole perspective of life changes. Like, that's great assistance. But mother, father, spiritual qualities, etc. 4 ways karma ripen.
Karma's definite.
Okay, but I'll take that one. Karma's definite, meaning?
A cause must produce a result.
Yeah. The example is, if it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. Yeah? What else?
Corresponding experience.
Yep, so the ripened result, corresponding experience, habit, and environment. Yeah? Karma ripens in these 4 ways. Yeah? At the end of the class, I'm going to give you, I guess, the summary of the summary. Yeah? I'm going to give you the 4x4 of karma. Yeah, the 4 laws of karma, which is like produces like, karma expands. If you did it, you must get a result. If you didn't do it, you can't get a result. So if you get a result, you can't complain that you didn't do it. If you're suffering a particular ailment, you can't say you didn't cause that. If you didn't get what you wanted, you can't say you produced the cause for it. Yeah? That's the first 4. The next 4 is 4 ways karma ripen, which is slightly different, which is here.
I just realized you guys were talking about the other 4.
I know, yeah.
But that makes
I know,
sense.
I thought that was happening.
But it
so,
makes sense even with that, because karma's definite, it will result, and then I thought, oh yeah, the corresponding experience.
So the first 2 are similar, but the way we call this 4 laws of karma, 4 ways they turn up. In your environment is amazing, because your environment means all these beings here, New York here, the type of mum you had. It's such a powerful ripening that it forces you to maintain that karma or helps you to get out of it. 4 ways karmas speed up, and this is what Geshe-la was talking about before, the Shi, Sampa, Jorwa, Tuk, which is the object identification, whether or not you've undertaken the deed and then being happy that you've completed it. And then the last class, which was the 4 powers to purify karma. Yeah? So these are the 4x4. And here are the 3 spheres, if you like, or the 3 things that could give you a powerful result in this lifetime. What are your qualities as the doer of a deed or the doer of a karma that you should cultivate to heighten the result? In other words, If I gave you a flower and Geshe-la gave you a flower, by the virtue that he is a higher being, a more knowledgeable, experienced, insightful being, his karma is got to be stronger than my karma. Yeah? And then, so just by the fact of who you cultivate yourself to be means that your karmas are going to be stronger. So that's one. The 7 of those, actually the 7 riches of the Aryas is called. Yeah. The next one is the way in which you do the deed. The 3 things that you do to make that deed a special deed. Do you remember what they were?
State of mind, motivation,
reverence.
Reverence, the kind of reverence you have. So your body language, it's sort of mixed up with motivation. But I could just give him a flower.
For sure.
Or I could give him a flower. This whole thing embodies a karma. You're doing the whole karma. The next one?
That would be the same, motivation and reverence.
Yeah, but it's what did I call it here? Attitude, or the posture that you take. Yeah? It's motivated by your intention.
Yeah, okay.
But it's everything you do with your body and your speech, and making an offering, for example. The other 2 is?
Timely. When and what?
When and what it's needed, right? So if someone's asking for food, don't give them rocks, yeah, and give it to them when they're hungry, yeah, like that's important. You observe yourself doing that. And the last one,
no harm.
Making sure that there's no harm. If you have in your mind that what you're doing won't harm anybody, that also makes it a powerful object. A powerful act, sorry. And then there's the 4 of an exceptional object, which we just covered. I'll give you all this as a summary, because if you're going to take anything to live with, this is important.
Can you explain the no harm one more? Why was that important? Or like why is that just not common sense?
Well, they're all common sense. They're,
well, maybe if you gave a teaching to someone who wasn't ready for it, it could, you brought someone to a tantric teaching when they weren't ready to apply it in their life.
That could harm them. Yeah, that's good.
Does that make sense?
That's a great example.
Thank you. Luke, do you want to sit here? I wish you would. Okay, so I'm going to finish.
Is that even possible to bring someone a teaching they're not ready for? Like you couldn't bring someone a tantric teaching that their mind wasn't prepared for because they wouldn't be able to understand.
It wouldn't be necessarily a real tantric experience for them, but it would be words that could potentially then bring them to experiences associated with that class of action. And if they didn't have a high view of it, it could damage them from then being able
Isn't
to
that a
incorporate.
bodhisattva not to?
So, for example, so there are levels. The Buddha taught 4 schools. He didn't take one school and then humans invented the other 3. He taught 4 ways to experience this whole thing for people of 4 different capacities. Yeah, because when you learn something in this way, you get it if you're at that level of understanding. If you learn something this way, you get it if you're at that level of understanding. A good example would be Sonu. He's a great friend. He's 13. Yeah, 13. He's learned some very naughty words in English. Yeah, we're not going to say them now because we're in a special place. Yeah, but they're funny, right? They're funny words. Yeah, like we have fun. It's a joy for us to do these very naughty words. Yeah, but there's a level to which that's okay teaching, for example. Yeah, it creates a bond. It creates confidence. All these things, and the words, if we keep them at home, they're not that they're not that bad. But then to take that up to another level, and we could teach Sonu so many bad things about New York. We could take them. I mean, you can decide which nightclub you want to take him to. And that wouldn't be good for him.
It might be good for someone else.
It might, yeah, exactly. But not for that being today. Later we can go to a nightclub. Yeah, but not today. So, but a nightclub is a place where you could have great teachings if you knew what to look for, if you were developed enough. So the classic example in Dharma is someone is grasping this understanding of emptiness, an understanding of karma, an understanding of how to eliminate your negativities through the not doing the 10 non-virtues. jumping straight up to the entire core, the entire deepest understanding of the emptiness of emptiness, how would that harm them?
It would lose its charge.
Awesome. It would lose its charge.
I was gonna say it's like almost like the reverse of Santa. Like you're taught this, like that there's this Santa, and you believe it. You experience it because I mean there's Santa, and then when you're told there's no Santa and you're not old enough to realize it yourself, it's like shattering. Like it just harms you.
I like
That's
that.
like the reverse.
Sweet. Yeah, I like it. So this is important. So the right timing to teach the right thing is very important. Yeah? No harm. That's a beautiful example of no harm. So lastly, let's talk about this thing. Yeah, that's enough review. Yeah, enough review? You will have more review? I want them to go talk to you. Huh?
You just spell the other half. Just spell the other half that we didn't review.
Yeah, okay. So who hasn't got an envelope? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Geshe, can we pass them to Tenzin and then pass them? This is for Tenzin and for you. Yeah. Huh?
Yeah.
This is what you do with these envelopes. Yeah. Also, you pass them. Oh, if someone's got a filled up envelope, that's mine. Give it back. Does someone have an envelope with stuff in it?
Yeah, we got it.
Yeah, can I have it? That's my bag. I saw it. Okay. So here's what we're going to do. Thank you. Oh, there's another one with something in it.
Wait, I think those are...
Is that yours? Oh, okay, no, you keep them for now.
Oh, we keep them.
Yeah, thank you.
Did you mix them
Okay, if you don't know what to do, you think about a karma that you did of body, speech, of mind. Maybe it's something you do repeatedly. Maybe it's something you've done just once. Whatever it is, it's an action that's stored in you already. And it's causing you harm or going to cause you harm. It's what we're going to apply the 4 forces to. Okay, so it's got to be something you're willing to work on. Because filling it in the envelope and giving to me will do part of the karma. It won't do the 4 steps of karma. You have to plant a karma that you're actually going to purify this thing. So don't write something that you don't want to purify. You don't want to put effort on. This is the catch. The only way purification works is because you actually have to do something, especially refraining from doing that again, right? Which is the 3rd step. So I'm going to explain to you mine so you can think about yours and be sure that that's what you want to put in the envelope. You are about to enter into a realm of destroying something serious inside of you. The more you heighten that object, the quicker the result will come. We just learnt that. So make it as powerful as you can possibly be. You are surrounded by images of enlightened beings. You are in a room where for over 20 years the most perfected truths have been spoken about. You are sitting in the presence of a highly realized bodhisattva. You have in your heart a motivation to stop suffering. Heighten that up. Make sure you can use that knowledge and the experience of destroying this thing for the sake of every creature you come in contact with. Because if you can stop a strong negativity in your life and you are certain this is why you did it, you can help other people really get rid of their negativities. This is why it's important. I'm helping you charge it up. Don't do something you can't make effort towards. Yeah? So I'll give you my example. The 4 forces are, give me the first force.
Refuge.
Foundation.
It's called the foundation force.
Or regret. It's energy.
Yeah.
It's refuge or regret.
But refuge is the foundation force. Yeah, good. It's called foundation because you push yourself up against it when you fall. Yeah? Okay. And it's refuge because understanding to the best of your level the emptiness of the thing that you've done. And then the cause and effect, the regret, step 2. Yeah. Genuinely recognizing that whatever this action is must come back to you. You must experience it as a reality, as your universe. This should give you regret. If you knew for certain that action that you did must create your every future, you should have a sick feeling in your stomach, say, I don't want that. That's the beginning of regret. Yeah? Third force is restraint. This is why it works, because you're not doing it again. So whatever it is, if it's one of mine, if it's a repeated one, please make sure to put a time frame for the rest of the week, or for another day, or for 1 month. I will not be jealous of my boyfriend. Or for another day, I will not think bad thoughts about my colleague, or whatever it is for you. The last force is antidote, which is what? Corrective action, doing the opposite. So if you imagine in your karmic state, your being, who you are, the nominal you, is carried every action, good and bad. All you're trying to do there is put more good than bad. That's all. So you've done something negative that will force you to have a negative experience. You're going to crush it with the first three forces: understanding of emptiness, understanding of karma, refuge and regret. Refraining from doing that for a while, or as long as you can. And then you're going to start mounting up the opposite, right? So I'll give you mine. I'll put my name on front of it, so I have the object identified. Remember the 4 laws of karma, the 4 ways karma is certain? So I have an object. This is Hector's crappy thoughts, yeah? And I've written down in here the main one. I've put 2 things I'm purifying. I'll tell you only one, because the other one is secret. The one I'm purifying is doubt. I keep having this negative doubt come up in meditation, this doubt about the teachings. As I'm teaching, I have doubt. It's bad, yeah? And it stops me from having realizations. I'm getting close to realization. I'm getting close to something.
패처리 인사를 해주도 인담이 패처리 인사를 해. 아니 인담이 패처 인사 말이래. 아니 인담이 가야 인사 말이래. 덮었음 내도. 이 덮었음 나내로 딱 해결 코말레디 인담이 마힘바디 망할리기에나 베란 마수페나 마수 미 미르데타 미타바 인수모로. 미타바이나 미타바 이나 미나 패처 인사 말을래 도빠디 누가 되겠다. 다들 보셔야 패처 미타바 이나 미 패처 인사를 해 도빠디 야가 되죠. 되네 맞아 지다니 탄다. 도도만아 리송도와 이제를 보세요. 그래서 제대로 투비트 날이 빠시는 거. 제대로 투비트 날이 빠시 민단 센터 수신이 rap단 삼진내다 삼일 남쪽으로 퇴근 초과셨으면 했는데 어디 갈 수 모르잖아. 인담이 패저 인상 파일에 태송주도 인상 파일에 태송지 파셀네 인사를 태송수 대게 들어서 어디 있어. 대상 도과들 다우들 숨 공부시 인담 많이 패저 인사를 다우들 레바 이바이나 딜라 되는 거죠. 걸어서 망아 슈게네 더도 제발 망하는 대로 봐. 어디 되지 인사. 다가 그런 다우들레디 인담이 대미기 위해 태송가요. 대미기 인담이 패저 인사 말에는 도과도도 다 누가 되죠. 인담이 패저 인사를 도과 야가 인사 니토를 레바 이바이나 도과 가지 망하려냐. 도과 가지 레바에는 네가 일로전 남에 내가 봐도 도과 쳐도 와. 제가 저 순간 찍어내도. 그 디레지 중에 돼서 갔다.
I just wanted to quickly jump in and talk about the doubt that you had.
No, it's not.
Because if we look at the text in scripture, the Buddhist way of looking at the doubt, we say, what is really doubt? And we really analyze it very, very carefully. And then you have 3 areas which really is connected with the doubt. The one area of the doubt is this really true?
and then where your doubt is toward more kind of inclining toward the truth. For example, let the subject be the nature of impermanence. And you have the first doubt is the inclination toward it, saying, is this really true?
The inclination towards truth, yes.
Yes.
Yeah, that it is. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And so you still have a doubt, but your inclination is more toward the truth. Between you. And so that's really good one.
Yeah.
And so what you have to do is like reasoning further, doing further investigation, and you get a more convincing reason. So that's all you have to do. So you solve this problem. And then the second, I think, the area of the doubt is could that be true? And by holding you back, this is what we call the doubt, right? Where you have kind of maybe 30% toward inclination, 70% pulling you back.
Pulling you back, negative.
And so this is like the doubt toward more negative side. In that case, where you really have to work on to get a better understanding doing through investigation and analysis, you have to kind of get toward the truth. And so that's, I think, one area of what you call the doubt. And the third one is neither of them. You have no doubt toward yes or no doubt toward no. You're kind of totally like what you call neutral.
Yeah.
So that's like one area. So as you remember, you would of course know Lama Tsongkhapa in his prayer for the beginning and the end, toward the beginning and toward the end of the practitioner's life. In the prayer, Lama Tsongkhapa was praying that he would first have a doubt that there's the truth, and then he prays that let me continue really shining this doubt into a conviction. And so in that state, Lama Tsongkhapa was saying that having this first doubt is good for a practitioner. Like when you hear a teaching and if you immediately falls for it, it may not be stable.
Yeah.
But having this question in mind, saying, could that be true? And this will really encourage you to do further investigation. And in your case, when you have this kind of the first doubt, and it's maybe the cause for you to go into further investigation.
Then it's a good thing.
Good thing.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you, Geshe-la. That's thank you.
남주 루이 퇴선 쳐버서 송도와 남주 루이 룽이 넣어버지 리페 쳐버지 송도와 대인상으로 대사 망아져 체리 버서 딱지 나야 내가 수기 단다 디베체 저버체 고치고치 원래 딩도 왔어.
And Lama Tsongkhapa mentioned in that prayer saying, may I really clear the doubt with a wisdom or with intelligence. 남주로의 뒤dom지로서 네 방어도 가르쳤는데
지대로 투비트는 날이 과시
as I hear from the teachings, and may I see this through my reasoning, and overcome my doubt with the intelligence and wisdom. And so Lama Tsongkhapa was saying we should rely on wisdom to overcome doubt.
Yes. Beautiful, excellent. So, what would that be like if we use the four forces on doubt? That if it is, let's say, the negative doubt where I'm sitting here listening to teachings for 17 years now. I've had time to investigate. I've investigated, but there's this something, and it's not discernment. It's not like I'm trying to analyze. It's this yucky position where I don't want to believe, or I don't want to step into. It's like a fear almost.
Oh, I see.
And for me, it was judgment. Bad judgment of this teacher or that teacher or this word or that text or that school, or it's this yucky judgment, like I don't like. It's ignorant for me. Yeah. So that's what I'm purifying here. So how do I do that with the four forces? How do I look at the foundation force?
The judgment doesn't come from them.
Say it again.
No, that the judgment doesn't come from them, or the
doesn't come from
your teacher.
The object that I'm judging, right?
Yeah.
Where does the judgment come from?
You.
Yeah. What's it based on? If it was what they were describing, which was the doubt that sits on the positive, I could remove it with knowledge. I've got plenty of knowledge. How come this particular flavor for me is not going away? Yeah, it's produced by me. This is the karma. So now we step into regret. Yeah, I'm like, okay, what do I have to regret? If all the judgment I push out on every being, every teacher, every text, every school, every person, if I had to live the rest of my life receiving that energy from others, would it be a suffering? Absolutely. And that makes me, yeah.
I just wanted to quickly explain this.
Oh yeah, sure. So it's not intelligent, yeah? It's this bad habit. It's this bad habit.
di yagare du realize me chome gyuru wata member dile wara so mishibe ungile wara ignorance
judgment, yeah, ignorance, yeah, ignorant judging. Ignorant is like, so how do you crush that?
Yes,
you know?
And you can do this in all this that was
just for the record, everybody please know Geshe-la just called me ignorant.
As we're listening to your teaching, and then we realize it's not just like Tao,
not general,
but it's like judgmental. Yeah. And I was explaining from my point of view. Yeah. I give one of mine, like when we look at the philosophical tenets. And we tend to go to the highest ones, the Parasankhya grade.
Oh, the best.
Someone talking about the mind only. Yes. Yes. I don't want to spend too much on this topic.
Yeah, this is
we have that.
Yeah.
So Geshe-la saying, of course, this is a judgmental. Yeah. And this judgment will come from lack of knowledge.
Yeah.
Why? Because we ignore this, like we basically try to ignore this.
Yeah, yeah. It's so true.
We have that lot that in the monastery, people who are this lower school.
Yeah, yeah, it's like saying no to meditators.
Yes.
Yeah, saying, so you have to do this for your affliction, for your thing, yeah? You have to take some refuge, understand that it's empty. Understand the emptiness of what is happening. Realize it's coming back to you tenfold. Actually, it's double every day, yeah? It's coming back to your, it'll force your reality. This will make you sick and want to stop. Which leads you to point number 3. For me, the promise for a very specific, is not just I won't judge anymore. I must, the Buddha said, don't trust me. You must practice by trying to analyze. So it's not that I can't judge anymore. I have to discern. But I know my flavor of that dismissive, that's the lesser school. I don't need, that's stupid. In my mind it's
mine.
Yeah, no, but I have this, you know. Yeah. And it's this subtle thing, this very subtle thing which grows into my reality. So my commitment is, if I can't hear Dharma and believe it, then I'm not speaking Dharma and believing. So my action, my stopping it is, I'm going to stop doing the judgment. My action is, I'm speaking truth. If I don't know, I'm going to say I don't know. If I'm close to it, I'm going to say I'm close to it. If I'm certain, I will speak. yeah, in day conversation. This is my focus to purify this karma for me. Bless you. So I encourage you to write yours. So I'll put that, and then I'll put a more serious one there, something that I've done very naughty that I will be breaking today. I'm going to ask you to think about the way you do the 4 forces. What you must take away from here is that what's your restraint? What are you going to stop doing? For how long? And secondly, what are you going to do to counteract it? For how long? Yeah? Then seal it. Put your name on it, and then you've got some seals over here, and I'm going to ask Geshe-la to do a purification mantra, Vajrasattva, yeah, over your envelopes as we seal them with wax or with silver stamps. Yeah. Can you help me with the wax? Does anyone have a lighter?
Does anyone have more?
Yeah.
Can you give me the wax that's next to you? And secure it.
Oh, I love the wax.
No, the wax is over there.
Sitting in the tray.
Yes, you can do my tray. And can you do the tying or not? Or you want to make the yeah? And I'll tie. Okay. Your job is to do the seal, and I'll tie them. This is so try and generate a stronger motivation as you can, that what you're fixing will not just fix you, but will fix all the people that you connect with in this world. Because if you can fix that in you, you can teach other people to fix it. If you can stop one suffering in your existence, you can show other people how to stop at least that very suffering, if not the mechanism to stop sufferings in general. You know, I think there's a lighter behind here. Okay, and the envelopes can come here. So, if you want to do this, I'm going to start with me. Hi. You got, he's getting the lighter. I don't need the lighter.
Hector, did you? I might have missed this. Did you want us to write on this or not?
You can write on there, I'm purifying sexual misconduct X, you know, I won't have an affair again.
Okay.
Or, and then you have to know what you're going to stop.
Sure.
Yeah, I wrote it in mine, so I saw myself do it.
Right, yeah. I understand, but I mean, this...
No, that's for you to keep.
This...
That's a summary of the course.
Okay.
Yeah. That thing I gave you, that's this, is just for you to take with you. It's just a summary of the entire 10 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah? So that's me. Bingo. Yeah. That's Mike. Mike, we need some string. Where's the string?
You have something to put it in?
We're wrapping them in the cutter and then we're burning it. Yeah? Not today.
Burning the envelopes?
Huh?
You're burning them another time.
Yeah, we're burning them another time. Yeah. Okay. So here we go. If you have yours, bring them along. Mike, do you want
stay sealed?
Yeah, they stay sealed. Well, she's waxing them as we seal them. Yeah? Do you want this?
Will you come up?
Yeah, she'll wax them. Yeah, come up. This is the line. And get you if you do the Vajrasattva. Yeah, doing over there. Yeah, please. So, left hand. Yeah, cool.
Chanjo semne yang da je kunjo song la jab so jo semje tam je da je jo chanjo la la go chanjo semne yang da je kunjo song la jab so jo semje tam je da je jo chanjo la la go chanjo semne yang da je semje tam je de wa da de yu ju da de ma ju semje tam je do ma da de ma ju ju da semje tam je do ma me de wa da me de wa ju je
While we're doing this, we're reciting the Vajrasattva mantra for purification. And Gishila was reciting the 100 syllables mantra Vajrasattva, but there's a shorter one. You can also say it together while you're doing this. Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva. Om Vajrasattva.
Om Vajrasattva.
Om Vajrasattva.
Om Vajrasattva Hum.
Satu Hum.
Om Vajrasattva Hum.
Yes, okay. Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum. You can, as a purification mantra. Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum. Om Vajrasattva Hum.
None. Doesn't matter. Om Vajrasattva Hum. 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 Om Vajrasattva Hum.
Elena?
Rice. Do you have rice? Okay. Teddy, can you look behind there and see if there's anyone else? Hi. Just a reminder, this one every time you see it under video purification.
지단이 맞서 최 가르쳐 봐야는 저 꾸는 되고 봐야잖아. 따라서 다들 디체디 니마 제제기 뒷바디기 다해나. 근데 맞서 나마 제발로 교화다로 치마 제발로 동세 진짜 레고 동라서 뭐라나. 나마는 가가 나마는 예고 통라서 진짜 레고 통라서 소중 거 지송고요 봐. 어디서로 차대 됐습니다. 따라서 다 끼네 단어버도 따라서 이과 가서 제유래다. 용하기 이과 가서 쌓여서 따디처럼 쌓여서 신제는 지기면서 있네. 뭐 이제 이제 꾸는지 유튜브에 보이는 편도 영상을 했어요. 일하지다니 아주 팬모토나 느끼기 내는 따와 뒤주기 따와는 저거 처음부터 숨어로 재리는 순간 나타 켈레나 모델인데 미 앞으로 지기 그 밑에 위를 nem버든지 된다는 거 지기 있으면 뭐 되는지 꾸는 약을 주는 다음에 쭉 제가 이번에는 편도 영상을 했어요. 꾸는 주에 계신 분들 이제 이제
And so while we're doing this purification, what we're doing here today is first of all to making confession and then try to really renew your vow. And when Buddhist practices, regardless if Buddhist or not, the most important thing when you are trying to correct yourself something, the motivation should not be a short-sighted goal. Motivation should be, for yourself, for others, for long-term rather than short-term. And so, as you already have studied in a Buddhist practice of confession, there are two very important areas, the two subjects. The first one is when you do confession, you do with a wholehearted regret. So that's, I think, very powerful. Like when you have the really repulsion, the regret for what you did or what we did in the past, the negative. Having this strong regret, I think, is one strong force. And then the next, I think, important power, if you like, is the refraining from this action in the future. So regret, refraining. This always has to go together. Whenever you wanted to correct one of your behaviors or thought, habit, so start with having this strong regret, and then having the determination to refrain from this action in the future. So these two, when you combine, become very powerful practices and enable you to overcome a lot of negative karmas and habits. Because I wanted to say this because you're all doing this very sincerely and you all try to have a very meaningful life. And as a Buddhist, we say we believe in dependent arising or interdependence, as our view is the interdependence. We believe everything is connected to each other. Then we also believe in non-violence. These are the kind of two principles of Buddhism. Having that principle, then we make a commitment to have a meaningful life. And how are we going to have a meaningful life? Like when we engage or when we have this bad habit of going into the wrong action, the wrong behavior, we're going to really regret and repulsion to it. And then we're going to really determine to refrain ourselves in the future from similar actions. Keep practicing that, and that will, be really beneficial for you.
So the last instruction before we go to have a chat with Geshe-la, if you've got any time, is whatever you've put in these documents that's recorded for all time, you are cleaning these from your experience of life. We will burn these with prayers and the rest. It will evaporate from the planet. You have a reminder on your wrist that you are working to purify this from your life. You got to expand the motivation to make sure it's more than just your suffering, but that you can, by experiencing the removal of this suffering, purify the world from its suffering and all the beings who want to be free from these similar sufferings. There's a lot of hurt in here, and I hope that we will do a beautiful purification, that every one of you is successful in your efforts to purify this one karma. It will be proof to you that you can clean things up. That thing will remind you that you're working hard with a beautiful motivation to refrain and from and to do the antidote. Yeah, regret. When your things come off, you have to. One part of the purification is you must have a feeling that it's finished, that something is telling you it's clean. That main blockage is gone. Yeah. So then you should work on the next one. So Geshe-la, thank you so much. Yeah, it didn't quite work that we had private audience, so you did the exam. I've got the exams here, so don't run away. Yeah. But I'd like to ask you if there's anything else you want to share with us about karma. We're running half an hour late, so it's my fault.
So that Hector Gitagima, after Jungi Ringala, the lady Toneta, Lake Lele, and this hour later. Did it to somebody, did the Sumbatsa Mayimba, that is all of her. Kalon Tebatsa Mayimba de la Sango Tangroa, and Tebatsa Pran, he is that Tajiki Shubanaja, Sanjim de Sunshawa Lanza Ichima Sunshada, Masoyela Vijichi, to the Omares, so you the Namjugi. Kachechi, Tobache, Sambache, Diesel, Sosuita, Gondi Chava by Natene, Ali Dermanava, Senior Turner, something you go and go to your Funjero, Senior Turner, something there, second she number Tawala, Nene, Tobache, Tene Sambache, and Gobache Funshare, in this one's a Tadilama, Tosam go to Tobatsa Mayan, but some Tambatsa Mayan Bani, so you some Lotam with 20 Yayam Comenta. Some lot Yaga do and Kandi Yaga, Mang Horbudro, that deal at the Nemo Haretimu. Come to the chain, catches the interest in the law. Mother Train and Leche Lady, Chick, Beja Lovache, and a chick migrant to Train and the Chinese from Ares in the law. Masolanga drove a cabline, some of the time in the Korimure, Yaga do and Yaga Yapuna, de la Manga Contimanga Teroa. Do a Manga Pugana, do what the Candis Legidu, gives a quality in Legidu. And they come to Kaudum Chedi. The catches a dean, said yes, in the rock. What did it that? Now what she is in the shadow, he said that she has the kitchen with it in the rock.
So, as we have been studying on the concept of karma, and Hector has been really working hard for the last 12 weeks, sharing with you his knowledge on karma. As I mentioned before, is a very important subject. It's almost like a foundation subject for all other wonderful knowledge that you will gain. And so, as a Buddhist practitioner, what you really have to do, this will really benefit you, is first we hear the teaching, and then we investigate whether this is true or not, using your intelligence, your wisdom, whatever your sharp mind faculty is. You use them really using this penetrating insight. Check, investigate, is this really true or not in your spare time. Get a habit of that, and this will be wonderful for you. Like thinking of Hector's teaching, and then you do your own penetrating kind of this insight, is this really true or not? And investigate, analyze. This is the real practice. When we say practice Dharma, it's not about praying or doing some silent meditation, really doing a very penetrating, insightful investigation. And as you do this investigation, you gain two things. Either you get a more convincing reason for the case, in which one then you have to accept. And then, for example, every time when you are about to engage in action, first do a quick investigate. Is this a good karma or bad karma? Is this going to bring me good thing or bad thing? By using all the knowledge, the concept that we studied here. And then when you realize that this is something you should not be doing, and then immediately apply all the antidote. Some of them we mentioned in even tonight's teaching as well as in the previous teaching. And using the antidote really to refrain and restrain from this going into the negative karma. And you practice once, twice, and as you do that, it becomes a habit of yours. And this will really, I think, take you far away from any other kind of falling down. And as a result, it will be very beneficial for your long-term well-being. And this is what we call Buddhist practices. You hear the teaching, do your own analysis, investigation. When you reach to the conclusion, practice it. If it's something good, do it. If it's something not going to bring you benefit, refrain it using all the techniques. And this is what we call Dharma practices.
So beautiful. This one's like, okay, good. This one's that. 장고 소속이 셈라 딱지 치세네로 생기 셈라 딱지 치고 나서 로아 심지 담지 담는 내가 맞아 가고 치야 돼. 소속 한기 셈라 딱지 지나로 와. 아 셈디 거울 두고 소속이 딱 가로다 빙글리로 야가 나가 두고 두고 나 두고 들어. 셈 두고디 가늘리게 됐으네로. 삼로 두고 버려지도 와. 이 삼로 두고 버려지. 먼저 남기다 예모 도승 좀 일레다. 갈래갈래 삼로 따는 레디요. 그래서 나니 뭐 도승대 싸면 소프트웨어 인바이나 다 저번에 들어왔으면 들어와도 저런 수인이 뭐도 다 사원이 미래가 땡겨 버려라. 대인자 단다. 자연 소프트웨어만 나와 또 많이 디스토인데 들어 가자 나니 더워 나니 마툴나 아니 줄을 더워 뜻이 별로 와이 순도. 그러와 다 담마디 소속이 셈 나와도 와다. 그러와 치기다디 담마 말했으니 치기다 미지기다 누가 치워는 거는 방아피녀도 갈래가 라이 모르와 대인자 다 망두도 다 나기다 뚜뚜와 있나 수지 랑도요 막 대라 되는다 소소라 마치고요 대내와 소두르러 대인자다 소소라 가래 있는 저다 뒤뚜뚜면 소소 담고 소소랑이 셈나 딱set나 소소랑이 셈 딱set지 야가도 두하는 소소도만 컨트롤 치고 소소라 걸어 여러 왔어요 대인자 셈나 딱set지 개체수 되셔서
While we're talking about investigation and analysis, we do not go outside and investigate things out there. This is not the main reason. When Buddhists talk about investigation, we investigate our own mind. We should not look outside, but rather look inside. When you kind of have time, investigate, in your mind, see what thinking is coming out of it. What actions is urging you? What kind of again, it's like what kind of attachment? What kind of a desire? What kind of desire the last coming out of your mind? Check. And when you notice or observe that is a strong desire coming out of your mind. And then investigate further where it's coming from. And as you investigate, then you will see this desire, the strong lust coming from your affliction. And then you see where does the affliction coming from. And this is what we call meditation. And to get to the root of the problem, as we say. And Buddha mentioned every teaching that I gave, please subject it for further verification with your wisdom and intelligence. And by doing this kind of investigation or analytical meditation, it really sharpens your mind faculty and holds you back from going into this habitual action and habit. And as Tongmei, the Master Tongmei mentioned in his 37, Geshe Tongmei mentioned in his 37 Bodhisattva practices, saying if you do not tame your inner enemy, your kind of the self-grasping or the self-cherishing thought, the taming external enemy will only increase the enemy. And once you really tamed your inner enemy, which is the afflictions and so on, then the external all beings will turn into your friend naturally. So give this, I think, teaching a few thought when you have time, and it will help you.
Thank you so much, Geshe-la. One last thing, I want to say thank you, and every Thursday, Geshe-la will be teaching for the next 4 Thursdays the most beautiful 7 practices to achieve bodhicitta, by Master Atisha. So please come every Thursday, 7:30 to 9:30. Invite your friends. It's a holy, beautiful opportunity. It's a beautiful subject, how to really know love in an ultimate sense for this planet and everything crawling on it that wants to be free from suffering, how to feel bodhicitta towards all. This is a great practice, so please stay. Please stay and teach. Every Thursday, he's the boss now, I'm gone. I'm on holiday! No. Let's do a quick dedication. Mandala offering and dedication. Who wants to go? Mike? Koki Jishin Metal Strong Priram Jin Deyan Body Sangye Shingde Mite Vargis Drogen Namdashin Lajer Vasho Idam Guru Ratnamandala Kanyatayami Digyokun Sunam Yeshe Tsotsoshin Sunam Yeshe Lejun Wei Dampa Kuni Topasho. And really imagine any goodness that's gone through your mind and heart in the last 12 weeks, any insight may be spread throughout your planet and help any being that needs to be free from suffering, that wants more out of this life. May touch their hearts right now, and for all time may this turn into nirvana for every single one of them, because of your learning, because of your commitment. And go in peace. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
I wanted to offer you back the kata and pray that you would bestow further teachings on a similar subject and benefit more sentient beings.
Thank you, Geshe-la. Now I want to give you a taka. I'm dyslexic. Thank you, Geshe-la. You're a great friend. Thank you. Come next Thursday to Geshe-la. Private questions next week. Exams on the table outside. Take one. It's 3-4 pages. Take
Donation
one.
bowl. Is that
Donation bowl for the 3 jewels. This holy place has provided us space for these things. Dump all your cash in there. It's good for you.
How does it say?
Thank you, Tenzing, for translating.
Yes, thank you.
di lagi che kamanga na de ani para so toba sawa ne khadu de chwa chine che ni kama chonga ni ju de sha ani shu de chara dia khadu so ge ki chwa khare ne khadu go de te sha wa na dia ga sa ni ma so ji khadu go ro khana je de sum ba na je yin dan sen de yo me ba ni ani ni se mo ba je sa le ne so ro ti zan khadu go ran kang ko wa de la ta da yin go de me ma so khadu go de di kama chi chi tu ju le ne chi gomji khadu go de la nipa takda negidum dele samloje korzon dele chena khande dos na ga dele sende de sonsin.
In our next teaching, if you're coming, I would like to divide the teaching into a couple of different activities. For example, we can maybe discuss a topic for about 15 minutes, and then followed by instant meditation. While we have the knowledge, we maybe do some practice. And then if you have a doubt, maybe have a session where you bring this doubt in the public in form of question, and then we talk about different solutions, knowledge to the doubt. In that way, I think it would be more beneficial, as mentioned by Geshe Tonglen Sangmo in his 37 Bodhisattva practices, that every time when we come across doubt and afflictions, we employ the immediate antidote to overcome it. So maybe we try to practice that as well during our teaching. That may be useful for you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's awesome. Go home in peace, enjoy, be happy, do the exam.
When do we